You know, the whole city and other towns were all devastated. And maybe you've seen how they celebrated how they celebrate Christmas by having putting up Christmas trees along the road. Our NGO, because there was no electricity then, you know what we did? We got generator, and then we lighted the municipality with Christmas lights. It looks like, oh, that's too palliative. You know, what can that Christmas light to their poverty? But you know, when the soul is depressed, then the whole body, the whole spirit will depress. So, given the fact that there was sufferings, then somehow we have to uplift what they feel, and just by lighting up, you know, the streets and the municipal hall using generator, then it somehow, you know, lifted up the spirit of those people. So these are just these slides. I will not go into the details of this, but this shows the engagement of the community and the outsider in the various aspects of services. Okay, and these are based on experiences. Okay, so here also the process in decision to build a shelter, in site selection, in designing the shelter. You can see that most of the engagement was, most of the work was by the community. And from then material procurement, shelter construction, and then post-construction. And then also we have here activities during recovery phase. Community improvements, Bayanihan Savings Program, construction of office of community associations, then swine raising and dispersal. Okay, so those are the activities. Now the question is, what keeps the people active in post-disaster event? And this could be some of the innovations that we were able to call out from the experience. First of all, there was, you know, there's that value of having concerning caring. That's something that we saw. In terms of disaster, of course, there could be some evil coming out from the situation, but you can see they're actually caring for people. I have a doctorate student who shared to us that they were also victimized by Yolanda, but because of lack of food, they just ended up eating sky plates and some biscuits. But instead of just eating these biscuits by themselves, she distributed some to her neighbors who did not have any food at the time. So there was the kinship, extended families, and friendship helped a lot, you know, in bringing together people. Okay, and then there was a common good as well as the mutual benefits and impact. What are some of the mutual benefits and impact of coming together, especially in having savings? Of course, they were able to have savings. They stopped borrowing from loan sharks, and then they gained income. They gained income from projects. Then the low prices of goods produced for the community, they were able to produce goods at lower prices because the gardening, the meat, the chicken, and the eggs were produced by the community themselves. And then they have access to government and NGO resources. Then social cohesion and organizational capacities were enhanced. So emergency responses were propelled by natural instinct to survive. But you know, when you're already in danger, your instinct will come out. Okay, that's why it's very important to be always alert and to really focus. Outside assistance, like those coming from us, through material provisions, complemented the local resources and values for collective action. We don't have monopoly of resources. Other resources are within the community, and we just have to be sensitive about it. There was Bayanihan as a voluntary collective action. Okay, this exists in our communities today. I'll be writing a book on Bayanihan and disaster reduction next year as I spend my sabbatical. I'll be coming up with a book on Bayanihan in PRR, and I hope to you know, highlight this good thing in our values, this good thing in our culture. And then they have family-based efforts resume as normalcy takes place. During disaster, there would be too much dependency on NGO, on LGU, on other people. But as normalcy takes place, then the family itself becomes independent or becomes capable of recovering from the devastation experience. Now the case two, how many minutes more? How many? 19. Okay. Seconds. I was like running like a train because anyway, so I'm going to make it a little bit slower. Case 2 is about CBDRM influence in national policies. And this is about integrating disaster risk reduction education in the K-12 curriculum. I actually asked the organizer of this conference because they would like me to speak about innovation in CBDRM. And at the same time, they would like me to speak about the integration also. So I just put them all together here because this is also an innovation, okay? I'm not from Deep End, okay? I'm not from anybody from Department of Education and Culture here? None? Anyway, but what I shall be sharing will be from my actual experiences in doing advocacy for incorporating DRR, okay? Also, I have 3 publications about disaster in education. 2 are with Routledge and 1 with the ATPC in Bangkok. They speak about the impact of disasters in education, the relationship of disaster in education as well as education and climate change. Okay, so it is in this context that I am presenting this. In Operation Compassion, I was sharing to you my actual experience with them, and here the context is because of my involvement in this advocacy. At the same time, I have here a book. This is who is from this college, who is from this university. This is Protecting Lives, Saving Communities, Disaster Preparedness and Risk Reduction in Philippine Setting for Senior High School. This was written by me. So I think Angela City ordered a lot of these books for your senior high. I think so. I'm gonna see the report of the publication now, of the publisher, the CME. They give report to us every year because they have to pay us royalties. Anyway, that's the textbook now used for. I have written it in a very simple manner that can easily be understood by high school. But some of those people who are not into the RRM can make use of that because that's very basic. Okay, that's very basic. You can read that actually for you. You can read that in 3 hours, and then you'll know it. Okay, but it's like a basic reference. Okay. Now, disaster impact to education. Disaster adversely affect education, and this is actually one of our findings in the research commissioned to us by ADPC, and so we did studies with the DepEd. We were collaborated with the DepEd. Now, disaster can destroy the buildings. Not only that, maybe they're not destroyed, the schoolrooms will be used as evacuation center. And when it is used as evacuation center, oh my goodness, the teachers will be crying before us because they would say, you just imagine the desks were converted into firewoods and our cartolinas were used to wrap whatever they need to wrap. Okay. Anyway, so there's a lot of issues about making school as evacuation center. Not only that, there would be actual losses of students, of teachers in Kinsaugon. Almost the whole community was buried. Almost 200 or 300 school children died. Okay, and then there are only about 9 or 12 students who survived. From there was a landslide that covered the whole community in Kinsaugon Leyte. Those children who survived are those who were absent. Absent and out of the community. Because if they were still in the community, they would surely die because they were totally covered. Okay, so that during the recovery, during the during the recovery stage, the many donors put up a lot of school classrooms, but they didn't have any student. There's so many classrooms, but you have only about 20 or 30 students. So they accepted students from other communities. The point is, disaster would really affect our education. Okay, so some students, they said we couldn't concentrate. We couldn't concentrate. We were anxious, and so with the teachers, and so with the administrators. And in the framework that we did right after the study on the impact of disasters in education, we saw that if disaster will continue to affect our school facilities, then our human resource development will suffer. Okay. Next is that there's a need for us to have safe facilities, and at the same time there should be management of BRR in our school, and there should be education as a means for BRR. Actually, there is that one is based on the framework. We call this the Safe School Framework, and there are 3 pillars of this. The first one is this safe learning facilities, ensuring that the location is good, it's not vulnerable. Second, and many other aspects of facilities, including quality of materials, including the design. Our college last year was retrofitted because they found out that there's some cracks and there are some problems in the structure of the building. So for almost a year, they did retrofitting. For 1 year, we did not use our building for 1 year, but now we're back. Also, there's a need for coming up with a school disaster management system, meaning the schools should have committees, they should have all those committees necessary to respond to emergencies and to reduce disaster risk before any emergency. And at the same time, here is disaster risk education and resilience education. Okay, how do we integrate? Now, my discussion will fall into this, okay, about the DRR education. So it's not about safety facilities and about management, but it's more on education, okay? So these are, I included this slide to give you a specific aspect under each pillar. Okay, I will not be discussing this one by one, but I'm giving this to this slide in PowerPoint, not PDF, so that you can use them and you just acknowledge the source. Okay, you can use them. As I said, I don't need this when I die. Better disseminate this to as many people as you can. I'm into DRR, and I said, if you are in DRR, you should not be afraid of death. Okay? So every time you evade issues of death, then you are actually increasing your vulnerability because you do not prepare for that eventuality. I forgot to bring my notebook, but I have a transitions notebook. I have a transitions note as thick as this. It says what should be done in case I suddenly die or if I die. So the first page would include it's addressed to my family, etc. Then there will be a section on these are my assets. Kala mo dami. No, it's just these bank books. These are my bank accounts. Number, address, etc., etc. With its current, its saving, its dollar, something like that. You have that. And then it says, where can you find the hard copies of this? Oh, it's found in black filing cabinet. The next page would be, what are the liabilities and obligations I have to pay every month? Because I pay for the van, for the condo, and for the electricity, for my so many. I do that. Okay, my wife just give me her money. But they have to know, is it post dated? Is it by cash or whatever? You know, a lot of wives cry during the week because they don't know what to do. Okay? And then the next thing, I have my third page would be what are my social protection. I have 3 insurance policies. And then my GSIS, my Provident, my cooperative, it has an estimate of how much they will be getting in case I die. Because if I die natural death, including suicide, the insured value by accident in a private vehicle times 2. And then if I die by public transport times 3. If you have 3 insurances and you have 0.5 or 1 million each, oh, that's great. See? That's why, and I do not keep the policies. It's my children. Okay, they know where they are. That's why I said, you know, when I die, you just cry 1 week. After that, stop crying. And I'm sure they will be saying, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah? Why? Because they're going to get those millions of pesos. I got this insurance when I was still young. Okay, but I did not die. God is so good to me. So I don't have to worry about what I shall be giving to my children as inheritance. Yeah? See, Mark, right? She's my student, and you know this story already, right?
Sure. Every year.
Every year. Anyway, so the point is this: we must be ready. One of the things that we have to do is to be ready about the possibility of death. Okay, let's not evade that. In fact, I have also, in case of wake, 5 days. On the first day, family only. On the second day, it will be my local church. On the third day, it's BUP. And the fourth day will be the NGO, DRM community. And on the fifth day, my present church now, which is the Victory. This is Victory. Okay, so I have already assignments. The next time I'll do when I have the time, I'm going to give assignments to people who will be speaking up. Okay? Assuming that I go ahead of them. Yes, but that's true. We must be ready. You know, the policy now about recovery is this. Even before disaster comes, you must be ready. You call this pre-disaster recovery. Okay? So, individually, as a family, and as a community, we must know what to do in case those disasters come. Okay? Anyway, so, now, what is this curriculum now? So, through advocacy and also because DepEd showed the need for having a subject, when they integrated now disaster readiness and risk reduction as one subject. Because, you know, you have 2 years of additional years in high school, and you must come up with several subjects. And one of the subjects that they developed is this one. Okay, it's about 80 hours per semester. By the way, I also piloted this. It's still pilot testing it in one school. Okay, so I teach high school for the purpose of, you know, improving the textbook, showing how it can be. Let's say, you know, it's good to be working with high school. I love it. I just couldn't come up with their technology because they are so techno-freebie, you know what I mean? They're very good in the presentations and using of technology in school, okay? Anyway, so the description of the course is that this focuses on the application of scientific knowledge and solution of practical problems in physical environment. Now, the next one are just the content, okay? Based on these are the official DepEd curriculum. There are other parts of the matrix I did not include, okay? So they have the basic concept on disaster risk, exposure and vulnerability. Then you have the basic concept of hazards. And then you have the earthquake hazard, volcanic hazard, other related geologic hazard, hydrometeorological hazard. You have the fire hazard, the concept of DRR and DRRM, and then finally what to expect between the state and the citizens. So this book follows that curriculum. Now, so that's it. A textbook on DRR. So if you are interested, contact CNE Publications. CNE Publications. Now, what are the strategies in DRR education? Aside from, before actually coming up with a separate book, there are other strategies. Number one is you're integrating DRR concepts and processes in subjects content. For example, in English, making essays on disasters. So, you know, I remember we write themes, okay, for writing and composition. So they would ask the students to write something about disaster. That's how they integrated in English. Or maybe mathematics, using disaster-related exercises. I encountered a physics problem that discussed velocity, speed, and energy in the context of a disaster problem, okay? Or mathematics, okay? This number of people died in one municipality, but 4 survived. They got this number of people, and 4 survives in this number. And then municipality, city. Then how many people actually died? So they come up with mathematical problems using situation of disaster. Or maybe social studies, assessing the vulnerabilities of people and communities. Of course, in science, it's very direct. Earth science, climate change, climate and health. Also, by coming up with school projects, school projects, or instituting a instituting a distinct subject in DR, the one I just described. And of course, you have drills and establishing structures where students are involved. So, in these cases, there are a lot of experiential learning methods. Okay, one, for example, is personal, family, and community assessment. And you can also do this. On the first matrix, on the first column in the matrix, you write areas of your life. Okay? And then in the second column, you identify what are the risks that you face in those areas of your life. And on the third column, you write, what measures can I do? I make this as an assignment, required assignment to my students. But it's very important because this will make you aware of the risks that you face. One of my students said, I'm already 30 years, this is a female, single, who is in, I'm already 30 years old, and I'm afraid that I will not be able to get married, but I want to have a family of my own. And then, parentheses, I'm the one taking good care of my mother. And all my other siblings are married, are already gone away from us. See, so for her, that's a personal list of not being able to marry. But there are other, you know, the community is flooded, or maybe the windows are all filled up with grills so that there's no way of escape. So they assess their household, the household conditions, as well as the facilities within the house, and then towards the community. And that's very important for us to become very, very conscious always of disaster. And then there is family DRM planning, so the students are, the student convenes the family, and then they discuss the results of the assessment. And then there are also case studies on family vulnerability, also poster making, hazard assessment within the school, as well as school projects. Okay, by the way, yesterday we launched this book, Disaster Risk Reduction in Management, Handbook with Academic Institutions. Okay, I serve as one of the co-editors. The main editor is Dr. Llanes. Si Sally is one of the authors. The last chapter was written by her. Okay, so and maybe another innovation is that we're now influencing educational institutions to integrate CBDRF in their curriculum and their practice. Now here, we're saying, I wrote here the section on CBDRM. What I said that University should also be doing assisting communities in doing CBDRM. Okay, so challenges, just 1 minute. DRM, ang challenges sa curriculum, 12. DRM is only for senior, not just for STEM. Now it's only for STEM. It should be for all. Next, inclusion of climate change. There's no climate change in the curriculum, but here I added a chapter because I know it is needed. Next is DRM should be discussed in the beginning of the course, not at the end. And then inclusion of safety framework, the one I showed you is not in the curriculum. And then capacity building for teachers. There's no course on disaster management. And the teachers are just learning it through lectures, readings, and they need to enhance their capacities. And then general challenges. I think this is the last slide now. CBDRM, the challenges of oppressive structural relations that perpetuate vulnerability. We must be able to penetrate that so that there will be lesser vulnerability. Next is inclusion of CBDRM in other programs, you know that. Of course, documenting DRM practices. And then this one is perspective setting. There's a group of academics, including me, our journal, Disaster Prevention and Management. We tell people who would submit in our journal not to use the word natural disaster. We say natural disasters are not natural. Human factors are inherent in all disasters. So therefore, we call them disasters caused by natural hazards. So a disaster because of earthquake, because of typhoon, because of volcanic eruption, we do not call them anymore as natural disasters, but disasters caused by natural hazards. It's a little bit longer, but it's more truthful to reality. So I think that's it. So the last statement, after the sunset, into 3 hours from now, among those affected by disaster will be a new sunrise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Luna. Let us now have the open forum. Could we request Sir Mercado and Dr. Luna to please take the center stage for the question and answer portion?
Sorry. Sige po,
And do we have any takers for the question?
First question.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My question is addressed to me. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to believe that the approach and the process is a form of psychosocial first aid. Yes. Second point is, in the process, is that a one-time intervention? Yes. Or would there be a further intervention?
Okay, thank you for the question.
Last point maybe, just
Yes.
to connect everything. In your experiences in conducting the process, where you face some challenges, for example, have you experienced disclosure? And how do you do with that, we deal with that disclosure? Lastly, after a disaster strikes, at what ideal point or at what ideal phase that approach can be conducted?
Okay, thank you for your question. Our belief is that while in 2 workshops it did achieve some sort of psychosocial first aid, because of the capabilities and capacity of our team, that was not our primary intention. Where we feel our intervention is best is before disaster strikes. It's to enable the attitude. However, when we did do this 5 months after Hayag in Tanawan and in Tacloban, just between us, what the participants said said was, this session has helped me more than the other psychological first aid sessions, sabi niya. Because those sessions made us relive the trauma